Hello Year 3 and welcome back to your second writing lesson of the week. A huge well done to everybody's fantastic efforts with their traditional tales. I was very impressed with all the beginnings of your stories of the three little wolves and the big bad pig. I'm finding that very hard to remember, but fantastic work. I really enjoyed your openings and cannot wait to see what you come up with in today's lesson. But first of all, make sure that you have everything ready, whether that is your worksheets or your pen, pencil and paper, and I will go through your do now with you. So in today's do now, we are going to be looking at our contractions. Now, remember, contractions are when two words come together to make a shorter word. But in the process of doing that, we have to drop some of the letters. And those letters don't just go completely walkabout, they are replaced with a apostrophe. Now, an apostrophe is like a floating comma, so it's going to hang in the air where those missing letters would go. So for instance, I will becomes I, ooh, I'll. So you can see the W and I have gone missing. Now, what you can do is either complete the worksheet if you have it to hand, or just press pause now and complete the contractions. You don't need to rewrite the words, just write what the new contraction would be and press play when you are ready for me to go through the answers. Okay, so I'm hoping that you paused in plenty of time. Pause again if you need to, but here are your answers. So I will, as we did together, was I'll. They have becomes they've. He is he's. You are your. Do not don't. Would have would've. Does not doesn't. It is it's. And we are we're. So press pause now if you want to compare your answers. And press play when you are ready to go on to the next task. Okay, so now we are going to do a switcheroo. I have given you the contractions this time, but I actually want the whole expanded form, which means what two words have come together to make that contraction. So I've got don't, I know. The two words that came together to make don't are do and not. So again, press pause here, fill out what the expanded forms would be, and then press play when you are ready for your answers. Okay, so your answers are as follows. Press pause if you would rather go through them yourself, but I can read them out for you. Don't was do not, as we just did. What's what is. We're we are. Can't cannot. He's he is. Where's where is. You'll you will. And I would. Okay. And there is a challenge here, which is optional. So you can, if you would like, spot the contractions and rewrite the sentence with the contraction in. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that is there if you found the first two tasks of the do now easy. So press pause and have a go of that. Otherwise, you can continue with me. Those are the answers for those who did do the challenge. So again, press pause if you want to look at those. But again, if you want to carry on, just keep watching. So in today's lesson, we are going to be looking at how to punctuate direct speech, because there is a lot of speech in our story of the three little pigs or the three little wolves. Now, when we show speech, we sandwich it, this should look quite familiar to you, between our inverted commas or our speech marks. So you have speech marks opening up and speech marks closing, and everything comes in the middle. So we've got our two pieces of bread sandwiching everything in the middle, and we have our 66, which is how you would open your speech marks, and 99, how you would close them. So when we start writing the speech, like I said, we open with our speech marks and we use a capital letter first. That's my tomato. So my sentence, the thing that is said in the story, is little pig, let me come in. So you can see there in red, I have opened with my speech marks and I've started with a capital letter with the first word, which was little. Speech marks, capital letter. Then I have my cheese, which is basically the words that are spoken. So again, speech marks, capital letter, and then all of these words here are the cheese, the speech, what is actually said. So I've used the bread, I've used the tomato, and I've used the cheese, which leaves the tomato and the second piece of bread left. So remember, open with the speech marks, had the capital letter, the cheese was my speech, and then I have to end my sentence with the correct punctuation. So that's either going to be a full stop, a comma, a question mark if you were asking a question, or an exclamation mark if you were saying something or the character was saying something with a lot of feeling. Once you have decided which punctuation is best to use, you then sandwich your speech sandwich with the last piece of bread and you close it with your speech mark. So highlighted there, I used an exclamation mark because I can imagine the wolf was saying, little pig, let me come in, with a lot of feeling, and then I closed the speech with my speech marks. So what we are going to do now is have a practice with the speech sandwich. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to switch over my camera, and hopefully I can do this very smoothly so you can see how I would use my speech sandwich to change these sentences from having no punctuation to having full punctuation so that it is in a speech sandwich. So my first sentence, where is my hat? So I know I need to start with the bread, which is my speech marks, which is like a 66, floating commas, like so. So I'm just going to tick my bread there. Let's see if you can see that. Bring that down a little bit. Oh, there you go. Then I have to make sure I've got my capital letter. Now that does look slightly capitalized, but I'm just going to make it a bit more obvious. So there's my capital letter. So yeah, tick that there. Then my cheese. Now my cheese is going to be all these words here. Where is my hat? So I know I've got my speech there. I have to end with the correct punctuation. Where tells me that this is a question. Where is my hat? So I need to go for the question mark. So I'm going to do my question mark here. Give that a little tick so I know that I've done that correctly. And now I can end and close with my second set of speech marks. So this looks like a 99. There we go, full speech sandwich. Second sentence, this is all your fault. Again, starting with the bread, I need to use my speech marks. Have I got my capital letter? This, no I don't, so I'm going to capitalize that and change that to a capital. This is all your fault would be the cheese, that's the speech, the word said. And then I have to decide which punctuation I should end the sentence with. This is probably the most tricky. You have to really think about the cheese, the sentence that you've used. This is all your fault. Now I'm probably going to be saying that with a lot of feeling because I'm probably feeling quite unhappy with this person. So I'm going to use an exclamation mark. And then I'm on to my last piece of bread. I should tick that, which is my final set of speech marks. So now last one, I know now I start with my speech marks. I had a lovely time. Well, great. I know that I use a capital letter for I anyway because I'm talking about myself, so I already have that. I had a lovely time. That's going to be my speech. Now what punctuation could I use? I could either use a full stop. I had a lovely time. I could say that without feeling. Or I could say it with a lot of feeling, I had a lovely time, and use an exclamation mark. Now I've already used an exclamation mark, so I think I'm going to go for a full stop and then close with my speech marks. And there you have it, 3 lovely, yummy speech sandwiches. So now I'm going to switch back to my slides, and we are going to have a think about what happens in the second paragraph. So we know that the villain, the big bad pig, comes along. We know that he is going to spot the first wolf and he's going to ask to come in. The wolf is going to refuse and the pig is going to destroy the first house. So very similar to what we did yesterday, but this time we are actually going to come to our own version of the tale. So just so we have a reminder, I want you to pause the video and read the second section of the original story of the 3 little pigs. This is so you can have an idea of what you would like to change. So press pause now and press play when you are ready to continue. Okay, so I'm going to go straight into my box up. So there are 4 things that are going to happen in this section. I'm going to talk about the villain coming along, who is going to be the big bad pig, not the big bad wolf, Damien yesterday told me off. He said, Miss Chowdhury, you used the wrong character, and he was very right, so I don't want to get caught out again. He's going to spot the first house and ask to come in. So this is going to be the first wolf's house. The wolf is going to refuse, quite rightly, and then the villain is going to destroy the house. But how he does so is up to you. You can come up with that on your own. We have to remember to use direct speech today, and that's probably because when the villain asks to come in, he's going to have to actually use his words. So I know my villain is the big bad pig. Let's have a think about what speech was used in the original story. Before the sun rose the next day, a crafty wolf came along. Sneakily, he peered into the straw house and spotted the first chubby piggy resting in bed. Little pig, let me come in, he called. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin, I will not let you in, cried the startled pig. So let's have a think now, pause the video. What could your villain say to your wolves, and how could they reply? So this is the fun bit. This is the phrase that your villain is going to repeat each time, so make it something that you really like. And again, how your wolves are going to reply is also going to be repeated. We're really going to keep up that repetition today. So have a think, press pause and press play when you are ready to write your ideas in your box up. Okay, so I had a think, and I thought that when my bad pig spots the first house, he's going to say, "Oh, Wolfie Wolf, I'd love to be let in." And you can see there, I've already made sure to put in my speech marks, capital letter, punctuation. Got my full speech sandwich there. And the characters in return are going to reply with, "Not a chance will I let you in." Again, making sure I put that in my speech sandwich so I can very easily copy that down. Now, here's the fun bit. How is your villain going to destroy the house? So in the story of the three little pigs that we read, he had no choice but to blow the house down with some dynamite. Now, this is how we are going to change it. How is the wolf, or the pig, sorry, going to destroy the first two houses? So have a think, pause the video here, and have a think of the most inventive way that your villain could destroy your homes. So I got a sledgehammer. I did like the idea from the story of the big bad pig. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to come out with his sledgehammer and he's going to try and smash his hammer through and destroy the house. So now I know who my villain is. I know what my characters are going to say, and I've used speech marks and I've used everything in my speech sandwich. I then know how my villain is going to destroy the first house. So again, I am going to switch over my camera and we are going to have a little run through of how I would write that. Okay, let's get that. So you can see I have my four sections. The villain appears, the villain spots the first house, the main character says, "No, you can't come in," and the villain destroys the house. So just as a guide, I'm going to keep my speech sandwich there. So I need to write about the villain appearing. So let's have a think. I might just do a little line here so I know not to write beyond that. So a few days later, comma, because I've used an adverb of time, who should show his dastardly means a really evil and cunning person. A few days later, who should show his dastardly face, but ... for a bit of suspense, the big bad pig. Now remember, we're writing for young children, so we don't want this to be too complicated. A few days later, who should show his dastardly face, but ... the big bad pig. Now he's going to spot the first house. He came across the first house made of, and I think my first house was going to be made of cardboard. He came across the first house made of cardboard. So make sure you go back and read your last piece of work so you remember what your houses were made out of. He came across the first house made of cardboard and gently wrapped his hoof, remember because this is a pig now, his piggy hoof on the front door. Okay, so remember, write a sentence, read it back. He came across the first house. Oh, that says mad. It doesn't say made, make a cake, so that needs an E there. He made of cardboard and gently wrapped his piggy hoof on the front door. Oh, I know door need 2 O's there. There we go. Now, this is where my speech sandwich is going to come in really handy. What did I say my character was going to say? Let's have a look back at my box up. He was going to say, oh, Wolfie Wolf, I'd love to be let in. Okay, so let's write that down. So I've got my speech marks. Capital letter. Oh, Wolfie Wolf. This is my cheese. I'd love to be let. Let's move this up. Can you see that? Okay, we'll leave it like that. I'd love to be let in, and now I need to think about my punctuation. So I think I'm going to go for, I think just a comma, because I'm going to carry on, close with my speech marks. And what can I say for said? Oh, Wolfie, I'd love to be let in. Winked. The cunning swine. Swine is another word for pig. Okay, and again, so I don't know if you can see that. That's going slightly. Oh, all falling apart here, year 3. All falling apart. Let's do. There we go, that's better. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to my plan and see what the pig was going to say in return. He was going to say, not a chance will I let you in. So again, open up with, that's better, my speech marks. So I know that the villain's come along, he spotted the house, the main character is now going to say no. Speech marks, capital, cheese, not a chance will I let you in. And he's definitely going to use an exclamation mark there, I think. Close the speech marks. Yep, done that. Squealed the wolf in fright. Great, now my last bit is the villain is going to destroy the house. So this is where it's going to get fun. So what could he do? Let's do some more speech. Then I have no choice but to smash it down, wolf and all. So I've used an exclamation mark there and closed my speech marks. He pulled out his fierce sledgehammer. Ooh, no, I've left a bit of room, so I need to. And brought it crashing down on the cardboard house. Okay, so let's see, have I got everything? Did I write about the villain appearing? A few days later, who should show his dastardly face but the big bad pig? Yes, I did, so I can give that a big old tick. Second was the villain spots the first house. He came across the first house made of cardboard and gently rapped his piggy hoof on the front door. So had that in. Next was the main character is going to say no to the wolf, or the pig, sorry, asking to be let in. Oh, Wolfie Wolf, I'd love to be let in, oinked the cunning swine. Not a chance will I let you in, squealed the wolf in fright. Good, so the main character says no, he's refused. Then this is where the villain destroys the house. Then I've no choice, or E at the end, but to smash it down, wolf and all. He pulled out his fierce sledgehammer, that letter, and brought, missing an A then, crashing down on the cardboard house. So E and then a full stop. So you are going to be writing about how your villain comes along, spots the first house, and destroys it. So I'm looking very excited to see how inventive we can get with our materials and how they get destroyed. So again, cannot wait to see all your uploads on Seesaw, and good luck with your writing.